Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Jane Nana Pokwajimai, distinguished Ministers of State, distinguished staff of the Presidency, national executives of our party, family and friends of the newly sworn-in ministers. Exactly 2 weeks ago, I took the same solemn oath before the people of Ghana that was taken by others before me to assume the leadership of this country as president. During the campaign before the elections, I made a pact with the people of Ghana to nominate ministers to my government within 14 days of being sworn in, and I had every intention of keeping that promise. 14 days after I took the oath of office, which was yesterday, that promise stood fulfilled. I had presented to the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament names of 23 sector ministers, 3 ministers of state, and 16 regional ministers for the approval of Parliament. So far, I've named 42 ministers of state and regional ministers to begin the urgent task of resetting our dear country Ghana, which has suffered in recent years from severe crisis in many sectors. As the ministers are approved by Parliament and as they are sworn in, I'll proceed to name deputy ministers for some of the ministries, which will bring the total ministers to 60, as I promised the people of Ghana. This will make this government Ghana's leanest and I believe most efficient government ever in history. I've just sworn you in the first 6 ministers who are responsible for perhaps the most critical sectors of our national life, especially economy and the energy sector. In economy, the people of Ghana are looking up to you, Dr. Forson, to reduce inflation and make life more affordable, reduce the cost of living. They're looking up to you to bring our debt level to bring our national debt to sustainable levels. They're looking to you to stabilize our currency, and they're looking to you to rein in the deficit so that we can achieve macroeconomic stability. To you, the Honorable Minister of Energy, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, Ghanaians are looking for stable and efficient power supply. They are looking to you to accelerate our upstream and downstream petroleum sectors in order that Ghanaians can reap the benefit of the potential that God has given us. They are also looking to you to manage the energy sector debt and be able to remove it as an albatross around the neck of our economy. To you, Mr. Eric Opoku-Agric, Ghanaians are looking for food security, and they're looking for cheap and affordable food to fill their stomachs. To you, Mr. Govans Abuja, you probably have one of the most difficult jobs. Everybody in Ghana is complaining about bad roads. You have the duty not only to maintain existing roads, but to provide new roads for smooth transportation. And probably one of the most difficult and complex sectors, and that is education. The Honorable Haruna Idrisu is supposed to work for the people of Ghana to ensure quality education and to ensure that we equip our young people with the skills that they need to go into the world of work. And one of your first responsibilities will be to superintend the National Review Conference on Education, to bring stakeholders together to dialogue on how to improve our educational outcomes. Attorney General will be required to reform our justice system to make it fair and transparent to all Ghanaians. You'll also be responsible for holding people accountable and making sure that the sword of justice goes after people who have misappropriated the resources of Ghanaians. One of the major tasks you would have to undertake is to shepherd the National Constitutional Validation Conference in order that we can begin amendment of our Constitution to make it a living document for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, long before the elections, we were aware of the parlous state of our economy, and we made specific pledges to address same. The energy sector is also riddled with many hydra-headed problems, threatening its very survival. Already we've been at work since my first day in office to tackle these problems. Indeed, you elected us to confront and resolve such challenges. As you may all be aware, the previous government did not work to ensure the smooth running of the energy sector by neglecting to arrange enough fuel to power our thermal plants. This was important because of the known scheduled maintenance work that was to take place on the West African gas pipeline, which is responsible for bringing in significant gas for the thermal plants that we have in our eastern enclave. Through determined efforts, I can report that we have now averted the looming threat of power outages. And began delivering fuel to the thermal plants in the east in advance of the shutdown of the West African gas pipeline. And Honorable Jinapo, I want to congratulate you for working very hard. Similar timely interventions have been necessary in areas such as education, where an acute food shortage was a major problem when schools were ordered to reopen on 3rd January. We have put in short-term measures to ensure that our children have adequate food so that they can go ahead with their learning. These are short-term measures and will help to keep our children in school even as we strategize on streamlining the supply of food to schools and pay off arrears that are owed to schools, some dating from as far back as 2021. Over the weekend, I announced that a committee of eminent legal and governance experts would lead the process for a comprehensive review of the 1992 Constitution, taking into account the work that was done by previous committees. This will ensure that we refine our Constitution to meet the current exigencies and stand the test of time to meet present and future needs. I believe that this effort will be supported by the majority of Ghanaians who yearn for a constitution that is responsive to our modern world. While we were all aware of the country's parlous economic state before the elections, it is important in the spirit of openness and transparency to inform the people of Ghana about the true state of affairs as we inherited it. Therefore, I encourage the ministers, as you assume office, to tell the nation about the state of affairs in your sectors, even while you work tirelessly to lift us out of the current situation. On the part of the Attorney General, as I said, you will be expected to spearhead the much-needed reforms in our judicial system to make it more accessible and beneficial to all, irrespective of their backgrounds. The people of Ghana are desirous of a system that guarantees equal justice for all and nothing more or nothing less. It is quite clear that so much needs to be done in so short a time. And I assure the people of Ghana that this government will rise to the challenge and will reset our country. As I pointed out during my inaugural speech, Ghanaians have, through their votes, declared their intention to demand the highest standards of governance, and we cannot afford to fail them. This naturally puts a burden of responsibility on us, which we must prove equal to. Ghanaians have shown that the days of tolerance for disrespectful gaslighting by government officials are well and truly over. They will take firm action as they deem fit to punish any administration that takes them for granted. I therefore charge you to serve in humility and candor, always remembering that we serve at the pleasure of the Ghanaian people, and that the authority we exercise emanates from them. We must exhibit tolerance for their views and work to meet their aspirations. This government will not tolerate arrogance or disrespect for the people who elected us into office. Modesty and prudence must be the guiding principle upon which you, myself, and our Vice President fashion our governance. People of Ghana will hold us accountable for the trust that they have placed in our hands. It cannot be business as usual. We must be transparent and fair in all our dealings. The anti-corruption institutions will be empowered to investigate and deal with any appointee who falls foul of the law. I expect all of you to begin the process of declaring your assets. The Chief of Staff will announce the cutoff date by which time all eligible appointees should have deposited their assets declaration forms with the Auditor General. I wish all of you good luck in your duties and a pledge to work with you, myself and Nana Jane, in the interest of working for them. I thank you and may God bless you.
HAFIZ TV, unique every day.